Welcome to another powerful episode of the You Are Enough podcast with Gustav V. Achu. It's a great honor and pleasure because today I am excited to bring you a conversation with a man who is not only helping families build wealth, but he is also helping prepare the next generation to build wealth and even become richer than us. Our guest today is none other than Dr. Edimo Hendrik, founder and CEO of Wealth Smart Advisory and co-founder of Wealth Smart Next Gen, along with his young son. This is a movement that he launched with his 12-year-old son with a mission to help develop the next generation of immigrant millionaires through financial literacy, investing, careful planning, entrepreneurship, and the ownership mindset. In a world where most people are taught how to earn paychecks, but not how to build wealth, Dr. Edimo is helping families think out of the box, think differently about money, invest, and build legacies that last for generations to come. Today, we are going to discuss the economy. We are going to discuss investing. We're going to talk about wealth building, the paycheck mentality, the future of the markets, and what it really takes to create financial freedom in today's world. If you've ever wondered how to turn income into wealth and wealth into legacy, you're going to love this conversation. Pick up your pen, pick up your notebook, and please help me welcome with a thunderous round of applause wherever you are. I know it is virtual, but I want you to welcome my friend and my brother, Dr. Edimo Harik. Dr. Edimo,
Oh, Jesus Christ, man.
man, I'm glad to
Damn.
have you on the platform today, bro.
That intro, man. That intro. I think I'll send you 1 man for that intro. I'm good.
No, it's deserving. Nothing there I said which is extraordinary.
No,
It's the
absolutely.
truth of the man, but the reality is that, in this business you and me are involved in, and in a lot of other businesses, right? When you're focused on building, you don't even realize how far you've come.
Oh yeah.
Until somebody else echoes exactly how far you've come, you're like, oh, is that how much I've covered? How you feeling today, man?
Oh, I'm doing well, man. I am doing well. Looking at myself in the mirror today, I look younger.
I can tell.
I look smarter. And you remember those puffy cheeks that I used to have?
It's all gone, man. It's all gone. It's all gone. It's
Uh,
all. I'm happy.
I'm here with my Saratango water. This when I drink this sparkling water, it tastes like cognac. So I just feel on top of it once in a while. Again and again, I still once in a while I still go to the cognac, but not as I
As
used
much.
to. You know,
Exactly.
yeah, yeah.
Exactly. And it's all a mind game, right? You've told yourself that the water has to taste better, and it's tasting good.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Yes, yes, it's tasting good. Dr. Dimo, we have just an hour, and I really want my guests to really get everything out of you possible today. Of course, it's not going to be everything, but we are going to squeeze you as dry as a sugar cane.
I
Now,
am.
Dr. Dimo, if someone turns on the news today, right, they
Yep.
hear about inflation, they hear about interest rates, tariffs, AI, government debt, wars, housing affordability. If you had to step back and give us the big picture, what's really happening in the financial environment today? What should ordinary people be paying attention to instead of all the noise?
Wow. That's a very broad question.
Absolutely.
I'll try to squeeze it as much as I can for the layman here. Again, the financial environment is driven by five major themes. Inflation remains sticky in the United States. The core inflation (CPI) stands about 3.54, but the true inflation is about 5 and 6%. That simply means if you're just keeping your money in a savings account, every year you're losing 5 to 6% on that money if that money is not growing.
Wow.
Also, interest rates remain elevated. We are in the Federal Reserve is being cautious because interest rate remains above the target 2%, and higher rate continues to impact mortgages, car loans, credit cards, and business borrowing. You can see now the average time for a house to stay in the market is close to 200 days. It has been,
What?
yep, it has been a long time that we see that. I had my neighbor's house just been in the market for close to a year and a half. It just got sold. Most sellers are even taking their properties off the market just as a result of them not getting any kind of offers or even wins. Car loans, money is getting tighter. We just got a new federal chair. And those folks that were waiting across the line, hoping that interest rates will go down for them to buy new houses or new cars or for them to refinance they're right now with where inflation is, they're targeting zero rate cuts for the end of this year. The best case scenario is 1. Now, the Fed fund rate and everything that's going on, the Federal Reserve is even looking for an increase if this inflation becomes as sticky as it is.
Wow.
AI continues to drive corporate growth. Artificial intelligence is boosting and remain one of the strongest investment teams. Companies investing heavily in AI. The other day, we had Google is investing $8 billion. They are buying, but they're selling shares in order to get some liquidity to continuously invest in AI, infrastructure, semiconductors, and cloud computing. Consumer spending, as much as it remains stable, it's pretty slow. Many people are losing their jobs. Some don't know when they'll be called upon that today or in 2 weeks going to be your last day. Some folks are being cautious with the way they spend the money. And also the overall market looking forward, cautiously optimistic. The stock market is not focused on today's headlines, but it's focused on earning growth 8 to 18 months from now. And again, AI continue to drive companies' growth. But again, that's one side of the business. If we continue to look at unemployment as well as inflation sticking in, that can catastrophically turn the market upside down. So especially from an investment perspective, folks have to have a balanced portfolio and invest cautiously, and at the same time have some sight with respect to some cash to take advantage of the dip when that happens, because it's just about when. It's all about when. It's not as if it's not going to happen.
Yes. The interesting thing is we all know the dip is going to happen. We don't just know when, Dr. Dimo. I like the fact that you share what are some of the strategies that you've used. And I know one of them is the fact that you always keep some cash on the side. Now, talking about preparing for the dip, what's the percentage of cash you usually have on the side?
I usually have between 7 to 10% on the side.
Okay.
Like right now, my cash is pretty low because I took advantage of some incredible runs on some AI plays. The other day, Jason Warren came out and talked about Marvel being one of the top companies that they are partnering. Whoever believes in Marvel should buy Marvel. And that stock went up over 50%. I followed the news. Of that 50%, I took about 40% of that.
Oh, wow.
So
That's awesome.
it's about opportunities. And the other day, the CEO of Goldman Sachs, Solomon, what's his first name?
Yeah, I forget his name too.
Yeah, Solomon something. He said that people are so greedy right now with respect to the incredible run that you're seeing in the market and liquidity that you're seeing. But folks have to be cautious with the way they invest, because they still have to get a balanced portfolio. They still have to invest in non-correlated assets. For instance, like the Procter and Gamble or the value stocks or the value ETFs. They might not be running right now, but you still need to have those on your portfolio. You can't just sit back and just engage just in artificial intelligence because you see the stocks are going up. So an average 10, 15, 10, 12%, that is good enough than a down of 30, 40% on your portfolio.
Wonderful. I like the fact that you're also talking about people being cautious, because the market has been a mixed bag of apples, right?
Oh yeah.
You see a period where when the market is going up, it's like it's on fire. It's like everybody is winning. And one of the dangers of the stock market, you and me know, especially for people who are not trained and experienced like you and me, is the fact that when the market is going up, it's like high tide. During high tide, all the boats are raised,
Yeah.
right? You don't know which one is leaking. You don't know which one has problems. You don't know which one is not really a good boat. It's during low tides that you know exactly who can actually sail. So when the market is so buoyant and positive, every company seems to be doing well.
Oh
But
yeah.
guys, you must always remember on the stock market, not all the companies are great businesses to invest in. Now, Dr. Edimo, let's make progress here. I understand it's been close to what, maybe 6 months today that there was the invasion of Iran. And based on what we were promised by the leaders of America, it was going to be a quick action. But up until now, there have just been stories in recent days of Iran submitting some kind of agreement, but Donald Trump didn't like it, back and forth. Now, what's your take on the current Iran situation and the long-term impact on the economy?
Oh yeah. It's been 197 days since the United States invaded Iran, and this conflict matters because Iran sits near one of the world's most important energy corridors, that is the Strait of Hormuz.
Mhm.
From a short-term impact, we've seen oil prices skyrocket. We've seen folks getting hit at the pump, and that is one of the sticky issues that is getting inflation to the top 4 or 5%. Increased inflation pressures and market volatility because today the Trump administration will come in and say we're close to a deal, and tomorrow no deal. So the back and forth, the volatility, it's entrenched in the stock market. Also, supply chain disruptions. We have to
Mhm.
understand that oil is the number one thing that they use. You have to fuel all those trailers to get goods and services across. Those ships have to go through the Strait of Hormuz in order for them to get to their final destination on the goods and service on the goods that they're supplying. Recent reports show energy market remains highly sensitive to developments on the region. The other day, President Trump had a really tense conversation with Bibi Netanyahu, and this was as a result of Bibi Netanyahu continued to bomb Lebanon. Meanwhile, President Trump is trying to get an agreement with Iran, and Iran got off the call with the Trump administration and stated clearly that if Iran continues to bomb Lebanon, there won't be any negotiation. And that infuriated President Trump until he told Bibi Netanyahu to F off.
You know, that's one of the things you got to give it to Donald Trump, man. The guy, if the fight has to get rough, he gets rough. All right. In the best interest of his country, he gets rough. And you
Yep.
can't fault the man for liking his country,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Eh,
So he told Bibi Netanyahu to have F off, and he told him that if not of him, he could have been in jail. So,
he did that?
yeah.
No, you're kidding.
No, it's out there, you know. So the transcripts are out there, and Bibi Netanyahu was on CNBC today, and he acknowledged he said we know who the president is. As much as they might have
Hmm.
agreements and stuff, they agree on a lot of stuff. And
Hmm.
it was just a tense moment. They are still in close collaboration, and they have shared goals.
That's
Uh,
awesome. Dr. Dim, I want you to stop right there for a minute. I want us to bring this back to the people who listen to us on a daily basis. I mean, you've touched on some really key things here, right? And these are important things because for anybody listening to us, you're certainly welcome. But I also want you to start making the connection between some of these wars and the economy where you are,
yeah.
right? It's important to understand that connection. But Dr. Edimo, for somebody listening to us, like my brother and Jerome, who is on the line, welcome, Jerome, and a bunch of other people who are on the line. Um, what does this actually mean for them? What sectors might there be opportunity despite the war? And how should they react without becoming emotional to the circumstances that prevail right now?
Yeah, great question. And just what is going on right now? Like I was just looking at the news today. Now, if you see that the price of gas have gone down a little bit, this was as a
Okay.
result of the United States releasing its stockpile in order
Mm-hmm.
to improve on the supply of gas. So that's why you see the price of gas have gone down by like 20 cents per gallon.
Per gallon.
But right now, the United States is releasing 8 million barrels a day.
Okay.
And that over the long term into the heat of the summer, that the United States stockpile might be depleted. It doesn't mean that it'll go to zero, but it's not where they want their stockpile to be. At the same time, at the Strait of Hormuz, the Iranians are still in control of that, despite the fact that the United States have issued or have instituted a blockade. Right now, there's still a few ships that are going through, but they are paying the Iranians to go through. Overall, the overall strait is still on a lockdown. This continues to impact the basic person, you and I. Number one, the strait for demand and supply, and also for goods and services that goes through the strait. Right now, the inventories that a lot of these companies had prior to this war is depleting. And if this war goes on for the next 4 to 5, 6 months, we will see an increased rate of inflation on goods and services, be it food, be it gas, because you have to understand a lot of just the fact that we don't have enough oil or enough goods and services that used to go through the strait, that will reduce the supply worldwide, especially in the Western world, and that will have a catastrophic effect because when there is reduced supply, there will be an increase in demand, and that will directly lead to an increase in price. So that is why you see the United States is currently on high alert to get a deal with the Iranians so that the strait can be opened. But at the same time, they don't just want to get the deal with the Iranians without having them agreeing to the fact that they won't be producing nuclear weapons or they won't have nuclear stockpiles in their possession. Also, the United States want to also have access to their rare earth material because that's limited in the United States. And the next where they usually get that is from China. And China totally understands that rare earth is a very vital material to the United States because that's what they use for their missiles, that's what they use for their defense production. So rare earth is used for a lot of stuff. But if US gets rare earth from the Iranians, that will be a big win because they don't have to rely too much or get some kind of an accession with the Chinese.
The Chinese.
So overall, to the layman, we hope this war concludes as early as possible because if this war continues, it will have a negative effect to the overall economy, to the stock market, and most of the things the overall stock market. It's not as if some sectors are gonna benefit that much from it. The only sector that will benefit that much from it is oil and gas. Oil and gas per barrel it got over $100. It's now at the 90s. So if this holds on for a long time, gas prices will just continue to shoot up, and these oil and gas companies are just gonna benefit a lot from this catastrophe.
That's awesome. They say every time there's a fight, somebody makes a killing out of it, right?
Yeah.
And we know that there's certainly a reason to why the Department of Defense title was changed to the Department of what? The Department of War.
Oh, yeah. And one thing that I want to leave here is we have to understand that wars create uncertainty. Investors who focus on long-term fundamentals usually outperform those who react emotionally.
Absolutely.
So this shouldn't be a time for you to get away from the stock market or run away from the stock market as if everything is coming to an end. But this is a time for you to structure your portfolio, make sure your portfolio is well balanced and have non-correlated assets so that despite the dip, you won't face that much of a catastrophe when it hits.
I like that fact because a lot of times the natural human tendency is we forget that this too shall pass, right? We forget that this difficult time is going to pass, especially because nowadays the proliferation of media is heavier than it's ever been in the history of
All right.
humanity. So if you are not conscious, guys, if you don't really consciously cut yourself off the media propaganda, you are going to be feeling every day like the world is coming to an end. Listen here, there is no question about it. There is some conflict going on in Iran. There's conflict going on in different parts of the world. But most of the great companies in the world are just still functioning. Microsoft is still selling computers. Nvidia just made a deal the other day. Palantir is still selling government contracts. Walmart is still selling its stuff. So you have to realize something. Let Mr. Trump worry about the White House. You worry first about your own house.
Yep.
Guys, worry about your own house. And I want to give a special welcome to Abims Florencia. Of course, thank you for hopping on. And guys, Dr. Edimo talked about the necessity to also understand how to position yourself during these difficult times. Because let me tell you something, there's no middle ground here. The people who stay the course and become patient, they will come out ahead. The people who get emotional, get afraid, and try to move in and out of the market, you're going to lose.
Oh, yeah.
And these are the times too, if you feel like you're behind on your understanding, if you feel like you don't master what it takes to become a successful investor, I'm organizing a webinar on the 25th of June from 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Central Time. I'll be leaving the link in the comment section. Feel free to register and secure your spot. That webinar, I talk about things like how to handle difficult and volatile moments like this. I give you strategies on how you're going to build wealth. I give you customized plans for your personal situation and all those different things. So feel free to do that. But Dr. Edimo, here's the deal, right? We are talking here about wealth building. That is very important, okay? Because one thing I've noticed is that many people spend more time planning their next vacation, the next outfit they want to wear for the white party in San Antonio or in Dallas or in Las Vegas, but they don't spend as much time planning their financial future. But yet, when we look at the successful people, the people we often look up to, they often had a vision long before they had money. So when should someone begin building a wealth vision? Is it after they start making more good money, after they buy a home, after they get married, or does it start much earlier than that?
Wow, that is an important question. And I'll tell you, building wealth, it's something that is, I'll say, it's very, very complex, but very, very easy. Building wealth and having a wealth vision is a painful funeral you must attend.
Okay.
It doesn't come easy. You have to think about, and it starts with the first money you make, whether it's been given to you or you worked for it. And sometimes building wealth or having that wealth vision, it comes with you doing the dirtiest, the ugliest, and the longest hours to begin with. Very few of us continue or have built wealth from handouts from our parents. We didn't have those parents that gave us $10 million or 10 million francs to begin an investment or a business. We had to understand that when you make $10, you have to save $5, especially if you don't have that much expenses. Because as we navigate through life, things will just get expensive as we go. If you're hoping to start building wealth when you get married and have kids, it becomes more difficult than when you're single. And when I talk about painful funeral you must attend, there are times that you have to give up that weekend going out with your friends in order to save that $100 to put it in your investment account. There are times that you have to spend time with yourself to learn upon something that you think will benefit you tomorrow or in the long run. Loyal to a life that you no longer have. And loyalty to your old ways is the most expensive friendship you can keep. because a lot of us don't want to give up our old ways. We are looking forward to that weekend. We're looking forward to that $5 increment, and for us to go and buy that Gucci purse and that Valentino bag. We are looking forward to that tax return. Despite the fact that we gave our money to Uncle Sam gave us that money with no return. We are happy for it, thinking that it's a tax return. Gone are those days. We have to be real and we have to call it the way it is. Building wealth takes time. And I'll tell you, building wealth would scare away some people away from you. If you still keep up with the same friends that you have, especially when you're serious about building wealth, then there is something wrong. You haven't started yet. Because building wealth is lonely. When those friends start seeing you, that the type of you that used to go out every weekend, that used to go to the bars, you'll be the first one to pull out your credit card and spend $1,000 using the credit card rather than cash flow. That they'll scream upon you and tell you you're the best friend. Meanwhile, tomorrow, if you lose a job, you won't have even $20 to pay for gas. Building wealth takes time. And this is one of the reasons that we at WealthSmart, we started WealthSmart Next Gen. Because gone are those days that we thought that building wealth starts at when you leave your parents' house. Most of us weren't taught how money is, even where money came from. Some of us, all we know was trade and barter, then money. But we need to take time to go understand the history of money and where we are today and where we are going. Because Warren Buffett said time in the market is your best friend. And
Correct.
Understanding the sense of compounding. Compounding, when you start now, even with $5, you wouldn't really see that much of a difference. But the magic is being done quietly while you sit there. Investing starts with investing in yourself, understanding what you invest in, and aligning yourself with the right people.
Absolutely. And Dr. Edimo, let me understand this, right? I think you hit the key things here, but I want us to go a step lower here to make sure we leave people with some practical things they can do going forward. What does a good wealth vision actually look like? And what are those components of that meaningful financial wealth vision? What are the components that need to be part of it?
So without a vision, money disappears. So when you start making money, you need to have a foundation. What is your foundation? I start by telling kids, as with respect to kids, they should have a 50-30-20 plan. Because kids, anybody between the age of 9, a 9-year-old understand what money is.
They know how to spend it.
Absolutely.
I don't know. They know the correlation between making it.
And that is why at WealthSmart Next Gen, we take kids from 9 years old. My daughter is 9 years old. She started investing at the age of 7. So during their early stages, when you start teaching them these basic principles, that when you get $10 from a chore, or Uncle Gustav gives you $10, it means that you don't have to spend all those $10. 50% of that goes into your investment. 30% goes into your spending, and 20% goes into your savings. So that simply means every $10 that Uncle Gustav gives me, whenever he meets me, 5 of that goes into my investment. What do I buy? I go to McDonald's. If I eat at McDonald's, I should be owning McDonald's stocks. Sometimes I see stuff that I want my parents to buy from Amazon. I should be owning those stocks. At this age, you're teaching them to start owning things that they like to do, to buy from. It's not about them doing technical analysis on some of those stocks. It's not even about teaching them ETFs. No. If they're playing Roblox, they should be buying stocks of Roblox.
I want to stop you there for a minute, Dr. Edimo. You are hitting some powerful things here. How important is that ownership mindset? Because what I gather from what you're saying, especially starting with our children when they're young, and that is something we missed a lot growing up because nobody taught us and tried to build that ownership mindset. How important you believe is the ownership mindset in the process of building wealth and building a comfortable living and making sure your money works harder than you work?
I'll tell you, this is cohort 2 of World Smart Next Gen. And my first question I ask these kids, who wants to be a millionaire? All of them want to, but they don't know how.
Correct.
Who wants to be able to buy a big house for themselves, buy a big car for they all want those. But you know what is lacking? They don't know how. And all of us, we wish all of that, but very few of us will be able to get that because we took the time to understand how to get there. And that is one of the reasons we are teaching these kids. And one of the things that it starts with the kids. And I said the 50-30-20 rule. And when it gets to the adults, these kids that we're teaching, if they master this with the help of their parents, there shouldn't be any reason that when they turn to our age, 45, 44, 40 to 60, they aren't multimillionaires. There shouldn't be no reason because they have good 40 years, 45 years to invest. Even starting at just $10. And we don't just teach these kids how to get money, we teach them how to earn money. And they can start doing chores at home. They can start looking at their parents' friends, those that have kids. If you're, say, 15 years old, rather than your friend going to bring a babysitter, they can come drop those kids at your place, and you take care of them for an hour, and they pay you $20. Kids have to start thinking of ways to make money rather than just ways to ask parents for money. But to transition this into adults, we pay ourselves last. That's the mentality that we have. Slowly growing broke because of the lifestyle. We become so comfortable in the lifestyle. The brutal truth here is we have to understand that if we continue to pay ourselves last, we're just one step from the next crisis. And the thing is, we depend so much on our credit, on our paychecks. So here are some answers, or here are some questions that each and everyone should ask themselves. Every month, how much am I making every month? What is my total expense every month? Am I paying myself first? If no, why? If yes, how much? If yes, where am I putting that money? Secondly, am I doing a line budget on what I am spending my money on? Do I really know where my money is going? Because a lot of us don't do that. I'm not telling folks to go do a monthly budget all the time, but if you do this quarterly, you will see certain things that your money is going where you don't even have that. You don't need some of those things. That is all about starting that foundation. Do you have a rainy day fund that if tomorrow you're told by your employer that your job is gone, you will be able to get back and leave at the minimum 3 months? Right now, it's taking people 6 months to a year to find a job. Or they have to revert to a lower paid job in order to get by. My question to you is, how ready are you if that crisis hits?
And thank you very much for that succinct answer, Dr. Edimo. And I think there's a direct correlation with the next question I want you to talk about, right? Because most people spend their entire lives working for money. And we all know something. If you don't know yet, guys, I want you to pay attention here. Money will always make more money on money than money can ever make on labor. All right? So many people spend their lives working for money. Very few people ever transition to the mindset where money works for them. And what's interesting is that even people earning six figures and over often remain trapped in the paycheck to paycheck cycle. Why do you think so many people become comfortable with the paycheck mentality? And what does it take to break free from that?
I'll tell you, the thing that get them comfortable is because they don't have to worry about anything else. They don't even understand what world building is. They feel comfortable thinking that that job is going to be there forever. They're looking forward for that 2 or 3% raise by the end of the year.
Mhm,
They are
mhm,
comfortable in wherever they find themselves. But the brutal truth here is, if you don't take care of yourself or figure out your finances, you're one paycheck from a crisis.
mhm.
Income is active. It stops when you stop working. And that is not the way that we as humans, especially with the advent of artificial intelligence, don't confuse comfort for freedom. We have been so comfortable being an employee. We have to start figuring out how to be an employer. Sometimes I sit back and I ask myself, the Elon Musk, the Richard Bransford, the whoever you can call, these folks, they don't have 2, 3 heads. Why can't I be employing people? Why do people always have to employ me?
Mhm.
And it comes back to our circle of friends, where we interact and what we align ourselves with. The paycheck mentality is something that, if, and don't get me wrong, everyone should start with something. But at the same time, you have to be working on your own thing. It is advisable for you to work on your own thing and you fail than not to work on something at all.
I like that.
And again, just to bring it back all together, the school teaches you to get good grades, to get a job, to work for 40 years and retire. It rarely teaches you investing, ownership, how to start a business, passive income, or world building. Do you know why they do that? Because they need folks that will continuously stimulate the economy by buying nonsense that they don't need.
And being employees.
Absolutely.
But Dr. Dimo, I think you hit some really good points too there. And this makes it even more interesting
And,
because I was
and
watching.
just
Okay,
one year, people become comfortable because paycheck feels safe.
correct.
You understand?
I
And
was just
invest
about to say that, yeah.
and investing feels risky,
Yes.
right? And delayed gratification is difficult. And that is why, if you remember me saying that building wealth is lonely,
Yeah.
building wealth,
Yeah.
some friends will fall off. Sometimes you will ask yourself, why am I doing this? Why am I starving myself now for something that, and you hear them telling you, why are you giving up this? Who knows when you're gonna die? But just
Hmm.
imagine you are 80 years and broke.
And then sick for that matter.
Oh God.
It's
Then the
painful.
society rewards consumption.
Correct.
If I go out now there and buy the next Range Rover or the next Mercedes G Wagon, they will help me for 2 days. But guess what? I'm the one paying that $2,000 a month for that car loan. And guess what? I have little or no investment. But I want to showcase my friends that I'm doing well. Nobody cares how you are doing. You're the
That's the
only
truth.
one that worries about how you're doing. People pretend as if they love you, they don't. Very few people love you.
But Dr. Dimo, now how do you balance the need to invest, the need to plan and build a beautiful life, and also being able to take advantage of some of the things that are important in life at the time where you are, right? And also enjoy life, as I say. How do you balance that?
And that is why you have to structure your money.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
If you don't have a structure on your money, you will always confuse on what to do. You'll be second guessing yourself. A paycheck can make you a living. Ownership creates wealth.
Yes.
There are
Yes.
certain things that you start buying when you start making cash flow.
Yes.
When I
Yeah.
start making cash flow of $10,000 a month, I can buy a car that I can pay $2,000.
That's right.
I don't need to worry. But I shouldn't depend solely on a paycheck to be paying $2,000 a month on a car note.
It's too risky. And I like the fact that you talk about that, Dr. Dimo, because I was watching a video yesterday on this guy. They call him the Greek freak, right? And he plays for the Milwaukee Bucks. He's a Greek, but he's of Nigerian parents, but he was born in Greece. And this guy has won the MVP in the NBA, and he's an incredible guy. I watched an interview he gave yesterday with a young man who owns a platform called School of Hard Knocks. And the young man asked him a question. He asked him, "Are you a billionaire?" And he gave a very interesting answer. He said, "Not yet, but I'm going to be a billionaire by the time I retire from the NBA." He is 31 years old right now. His net worth is about 200 million. He's played for about 11 seasons already. But here is the interesting thing he talked about. He said, what many people, because the guy also asked him a follow-up question, why does 75% of players who play in the NBA 3 to 5 years after they retire file for bankruptcy, NBA and NFL? And he gave a very simplistic answer, and it makes a lot of sense. He says because they play for the NBA and they get paid such amounts of money, they forget that they are still employees. They can be fired.
Yep.
Okay? They forget that the only reason why they pay them that much is because they are actively entertaining people. The minute you are no longer good to do that, or you can no longer do that, that paycheck stops coming. But your lifestyle is already used to a certain number of cars, number of houses, and so it becomes difficult to cut down your lifestyle. So they start getting now into their savings and all of that. And he said the simple thing he's doing, he says he has business interest and all of those kind of thing, but it's a small percentage of his money. That the most of his money is in the stock market on simple index funds. And based on his calculation, the way his account is going, by the time he retires, he's going to be a billionaire from doing nothing. Now, guys, I want you to understand, this guy was sitting in his restaurant talking. Okay, so he has some restaurant investments, he has some car washes and other businesses. But he says what he is most confident about is the stock market. And why I bring that up is because we also have a lot of entrepreneurs who listen to us. I have a lot of entrepreneurs who are my clients. And before they became my clients, it took such a difficult time for them to understand this concept. Investing in the stock market as an entrepreneur doesn't mean you are not good at what you do. It just means you are de-risking yourself. You are reducing the dependence on one source of income, which is just your business, and moving away and putting some money in other people's businesses that grow. I was talking today to a very close family person of mine, and this person was telling me the difficulties they've gone through over the last 2 years. Their business all of a sudden dried up. Their suppliers, another company bought their supplier. So their supplier no longer had the flexibility to work with them the way they used to work with them. And all of a sudden, they found themselves in front of a situation where they had to make some tough financial decisions and even considered bankruptcy. All right? But one of the things, at least that person was honest to tell me, is that, Gustav, I wish I had listened to you when you started telling me about de-risking. There is no question they are building a new business now, and they are going to get back, and they know for a fact that they have to de-risk. So, guys, when we talk about investing on the market, it's not only for people who work. It's also for entrepreneurs. It just gives everybody the chance to really position themselves. Now, Dr. Edimo, let me hit the next question here, right? Everybody wants wealth. You ask those kids who wants to be a millionaire, they all put their hands. But very few people want the sacrifices that is necessary. When people see successful investors, entrepreneurs, or business owners, they often see the outcome, but not the price they pay to get there. From your perspective, what is the real price of building wealth?
It's loneliness.
And what did you have to personally give up in your own life to get to where you are in your journey? I know you're still on the journey, but you're no longer where you used to be, for sure. What
Building
was it
wells
that you had to give up?
required delayed gratification.
Okay.
Us going when you get paid, you go and buy stuff at the mall. You have to delay that. Building wealth requires consistency. It requires you either getting with me, with WorldSmart, or getting with Gustav for them to teach you how money works. Because if you're still sitting here and you've been working in the United States for 5, 10, 15 years, you don't even have a $10,000 portfolio, you don't have a retirement account, you don't have a Roth IRA that is the easiest and the best thing that can happen to you, then you don't understand how money is made. It requires patience and sacrifice. And the price is to say no to some vacations. Not all the vacations that your friends invite you, all the birthdays, summer is coming, Cancun, Mexico, wherever. Some folks can afford this, I'll tell you this. Some folks pretend as if they can afford it. They can't. You have to say no to unnecessary debt. How many credit cards? Some folks don't like to look at their finances because it gives them a heart attack. So they just ignore it. You have the price is to say no to lifestyle inflation. Because Gustav bought a Lamborghini last week, all I'm thinking is to go buy my own Lamborghini in 1 year.
From your mouth to God's ears, please. I wouldn't even feel it, the damn thing.
The price is saying no to keeping up with the Joneses. And I'll tell you, when you start building wealth, the people around you, right? They'll see something. They'll see something in you that they haven't seen before.
That's very true.
And some of the friends will stop calling because you guys are not in that same mindset or environment again. Family members will have an opinion about you. Why are you starting that business? Don't you know that most people that have started business are doing this thing? Why are you investing in the stock market? Don't you see that thing has crashed? Didn't you see what happened during COVID? Why are you doing that? Family, your partner who feels your partner sometime I feel you're becoming a stranger. And you know what? That is when your vision starts. It starts with finding your purpose. Because without understanding your purpose, you'll just be in a situation where you continuously struggle. Once you can see further than the people around you, the gravity that used to hold you in place begins to weaken.
Very true. I want you to say that again, please. Once you can see further than the people around you, the gravity that used to hold you begins to weaken. Guys, if I were you, I'll write that down. That's a powerful one. And it applies in everything in life. Yes.
Absolutely. If you stop drinking with people, they will say you have become proud. When you start not going to the bars or going out every weekend, they'll say, who is that guy? Who doesn't think he is? You hardly see people that have built great things over life. People say good things about. They usually bash them.
Very
say
true.
all kinds of nonsense. If you start protecting your time and money, they'll say you think you're better than them.
Very true.
That's just it. The key here is clarity. Your vision is getting clearer. And clarity always looks like distance to the people who still negotiating with their own confusion.
You're dropping some now, Dr. Edimo. I'm not sure. I'm not sure the meditation and prayer you did last night, but boy, the wisdom is flowing like a faucet. I want you to drop that one again.
Clarity always looks like distance to people who are still negotiating with their own confusion.
Clarity will always look like distance to people who are still negotiating with their own confusion.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's a good one.
And when we stop apologizing and explaining for that distance, that is when we are on the right track to start building wealth.
Yeah. When you stop apologizing for that distance. Man, Dr. Jimo, I really like that. But one of the questions I get all the time, what is the market going to do next? And of course, nobody has a crystal ball, right? Not you, not me, not Warren Buffett, not Bill Gates, nobody. But investors still need a framework for thinking about the future because it's important. Without that, there is no direction. It's like you want to drive a car without the steering wheel. As you look at the rest of this year with interest rates, the AI evolution, government policy, consumer spending, global uncertainty, the war in Iran, what's your outlook for the market going forward?
I remain cautiously optimistic. Why do I say that? If the US is able to wrap up this war in Iran, supply chain, because it's going to take a couple months for supply chain to catch up to where it was, and for price stickiness to also start reducing, that might take. So if this war wraps up within the next 2-3 months, it's going to take us to like the beginning of next year to see some stability. The market has been doing pretty well. I checked yesterday. So far, S&P 500 is up 10.75% just within the past 5 months. That is incredible. I usually just average 10% of my portfolio. That is what I hope for every year. So we already hit that, and most of our portfolios have even doubled that.
Correct.
I'm currently sitting at 35% return on investment this year.
That's triple.
Yep.
Triple 0.5.
So depending on your investment strategy, somebody like me, I might decide to just go all ETFs at this time and make additional 2% or 3%. It doesn't really matter. That will still beat the S&P 500 by 2 or 3 times. So depending on your risk tolerance and depending on your investment strategy, again, you have to stay diversified.
That's right.
Don't follow the AI race. Don't follow a particular sector. Have your portfolio diversified and have uncorrelated assets into it. And also look at the weight with respect to where you invest. How weighted are you with respect to each sector? There is an app that I use, it's called Portfolio Screening. This thing, you can put your portfolio in there and it'll tell you how that portfolio have done for the past 10 years. And it will give you projection, how it will do. It will give you standard deviation, your risk tolerance, and all of that.
So do you load when you say you put your portfolio, what does that mean? You take a screenshot, you take the link?
No. So if you have, say, 10 stocks on your portfolio, you can put those stocks in there and put the weighted.
Okay.
You can compare that to the S&P 500. You can compare that to just index funds or mutual funds. So you can have a side-by-side comparison, 3 comparison situation and stuff. But
I think that application is a fantastic tool, guys. And for those who might not understand what Dr. Edimo is talking about, right? Again, basically, Dr. Edimo is just saying there is a tool whereby you can, let's say you have a portfolio where you have NVIDIA, Apple, and individual stocks, 10 of them. And that comes up to 100% because that's your total portfolio. But you want to see whether those individual stocks over a 10-year period have averaged more than the S&P 500. You can go compare it in that tool. And if it's not average up to the S&P 500, then you are doing yourself a disfavor trying to invest in individual companies. You should just buy the S&P 500 and sit down like most people do, right? So these are for people who are interested in individual stocks, but you want to exactly see if your portfolio has the probability to perform better than the S&P 500 based on over the last 10-year data. Right, so it's that's an interesting. I'm going to use that tool, Dr. Edimo. I didn't know about that, guys. So as you can tell, we all learn every day, right? It's not like we know it all. I'm going to use that tool. You say it's called what? Stock Screener?
It's called Visualize Screener.
Visualize. And please, after this, if you don't mind, just drop a message
Yeah,
on this
I'll
video
drop the
with
link
that
on.
thing. That is a very powerful tool, guys. Make sure you use that tool. And
So you
again,
can
we
go
don't
back,
have no
you
skin
can
in
go
the
back
game.
as long as 20 years, depending on how long the stock or the ETF has been.
Wow.
Put it in there. It will take into consideration all the downtimes in the market and stuff, and show you how much your money could have been today.
Wow. Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, Dr. Jimo, I know we are slowly getting to the top of the hour, but before we get to that, I want us to talk about what everyone wants to know. Not necessarily what you are buying today, but what you are paying attention to, right? As you look at the current landscape, artificial intelligence, infrastructure, energy, technology, healthcare, innovation, all this noise, there's just all these different industries coming, boom, 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 right? Which stocks or ETFs or sectors are currently on your radar, and what makes them interesting to you, right? What themes are you most excited about over the next 5 years? And guys, just to make sure we are clear here, we are not financial advisors, all right?
Yeah.
Whatever we share with you, this is not financial advice. This is just our experiences, some of the opinions we have, and it's for you to do your own research. You must realize that investment involves risk. You might lose money sometimes. In fact, you are going to lose money. There's nobody who has invested and never lost money. But it is your responsibility to do your own research. If you need additional guidance, you need additional coaching, you can reach out to us for that. Go ahead, Dr. Edimo.
Yeah, so I'll just give you just a tidbit here especially on the stocks that I'm looking at. The mega 6 or mega 5, depending on who. I'm gonna pick one. I like Alphabet. Alphabet is doing tremendous stuff, and just the fact that they have already seen the benefit of AI, and they're planning of investing $8 billion in
What company is Alphabet?
Google.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then on AI plays depending on how you can go deep into AI, or you can just get one. The king of AI is NVIDIA, but there are other small players there that create. AI is very broad, be it infrastructure, be it chip, be it whatever. Or you can just decide to go with the chip SOXX, which encompasses all the chips, semiconductors and stuff. That's spreading your eggs among multiple baskets. Banking, I like Goldman Sachs, man. Goldman Sachs, they will be.
Now, you've been thinking this Goldman Sachs thing now for a while. I have to really consider
Go
that
and
thing.
look at it. Go and look at what this thing has done. Compared to all, again, you have to diversify your portfolio.
Correct, absolutely.
Compared to all the other companies, the banking, Bank of America is crap. Wells Fargo is crap. Those companies, they're struggling. Goldman Sachs is more of investment banking. So if you see a lot of these companies, when they want to go IPO, they choose Goldman Sachs because they're the king of Goldman Sachs, of IPOing and wealth, and also wealth management. From an ETF, again, I can keep going here, but I will leave folks with that. If you need guidance, reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to coach you, to show you what sectors are in there, what is happening, so that you can make your own decisions for yourself. ETFs, I tell everybody, you don't need to come and right now I charge $3.99 an hour to talk to anybody. You don't need to come and pay me $3.99 an hour if you have $100 to start investing. Go and buy S&P 500 if you want. You make 10%. There's a high probability you make 10% a year. And if you take into consideration the Rule 72, every 7 years your money will double. So if you're serious about investing, you should start from there. And I think everybody should start from there. There are folks that I've seen, I talked to, they have Robinhood. Some folks have like 7 brokerages on their phone. But on each brokerage, they have $7. Your discipline
Broker,
right now we have to start calling some of these things.
brokerages are not investment, right?
Yeah, having
It's
7
just a platform.
brokerages doesn't mean that you have 700,000. No,
Correct.
you don't need 7 brokerages. Even these rich people, they don't have all these multiple
There is too
brokerages.
many. You can't even manage that.
Investing is intentional. If you're not intentional, and if you're not serious about doing this thing for 10 years or more, don't even bother, to be candid. Because nobody knew COVID was coming. Nobody knew the financial crisis was coming. Nobody knew the Great Depression was coming. We have gone through tough times in the market to sit here and talk to you. We have gone through the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Very true.
So right now, if we even charge right now, the hourly rate that we are charging people is so cheap, man, compared to the value that we bring and give. It's not an hourly rate. This is pro bono services that we're giving to people, man. But the thing is, if you're not serious to take a deeper look at your finances, it'll be hard for you to build wealth. It will. You might have $100,000 in your savings account and you worship it every day. But guess what? Every year that money loses 5,000, 6,000. 10 years from today, that $100,000 will be worth about $65,000 or $68,000.
That's
That's
right.
what you'll be able to buy. So it's time for us to start being conscious to take some of these things seriously. There isn't a better way to build wealth than investing in the US stock exchange market. That is
Wow. That's powerful, Dr. Edimo. That's powerful. So I know we are getting now to the middle of the year, which is June, of course. And usually we know this is midterm election year, right?
Yep.
And generally the statistics tell us that in midterm election years, the market generally is very volatile, right? And a lot of times it might end in red, but 12 months later, it generally rises by about 30% or some, no, by about 15% or something like that, right? But I want to pick your brain and your opinion on the SpaceX IPO that is coming up. What do you think? Is SpaceX worth buying? Should people buy it at the IPO? Especially because data is telling us that 50% of companies generally their prices drop, in the first 12 months of IPO. Should people be a little more patient? What are you planning? What is your plan for SpaceX?
I like that question. And I'll tell you my experience in jumping into IPOs. I've always got burned jumping into IPOs. I'm not going to buy SpaceX when they IPO. No. Especially on my long-term portfolio. No.
Mhm.
I was talking with one financial advisor yesterday because I started investing in private equity. And again, in order for you to invest in private equity, it's not everybody that can invest in private equity. Just for the folks online, you have to have a net worth of about $1 million, excluding your property, or you have to be a financial advisor or have some serious FINRA licenses or be a CFP and stuff like that. That's how you qualify. Or you have to make over $200,000 as an individual or $300,000 as a couple. So there are ways that you can qualify. But I'll tell you, that is one of the private equity. You can, especially if these folks know what they're doing, you can make 20, 25, 30% return annually.
Mhm.
Again, it comes with risk. The risks are elevated because these are companies that have an IPO, right? But I'll tell you, before these companies come IPO, they have been private equity funds have been
Correct. Have been
pumping
invested
in
in them.
stuff. So when they IPO, some of this private equity, they own shares in there. Some of them plan on liquidating those shares. There's some guidelines on how you can liquidate. Some of them you have to hold it for 6 months before you liquidate and stuff. But
Yeah, generally.
I usually tell folks to be cautious in jumping into IPOs. Today, Elon Musk and Goldman Sachs, they put a price of $137 per share for the SpaceX. I don't plan on buying it. I will wait and see a year or so to see the books for SpaceX, whether it's a profitable business or it's a business that's just going to be pumping money in there and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Those right now they're valuing it at $1.7 trillion. That's gonna be that's gonna be the top IPO that has ever happened. Um, the anxiety and the rush is high, so a lot of people will be jumping in to get a peek, to get a bite of that. But I don't think I'm in that position. Again, how much risk do you want to take? I'm not in that position to take that
Mm-hmm.
elevated amount of risk. So I will not be jumping into that when the IPO.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I like the way you analyze it with very cautiously and with a lot of reasonableness. And the reason I say that is because, of course, there have been a lot of talk about, SpaceX and all of that. And guys, by the way, if you keep an eye on Friday, I have a whole video I did on the SpaceX IPO, right? Because when you take away the veil, you go underneath, you look at the business, then you start having a lot of reservation like Dr. Edimo has. Now you do you. You want to invest in it? That's your opinion. And we are just telling you what we're going to be doing, right? SpaceX is a company that I believe has the potential to be great. It's not a great business right now. Because in investing, you must always distinguish between a great investment and a great business,
Yeah.
right? A company can be a so business, but it sounds like it's a great investment because of hype and noise. Another thing, of course, history has told everyone who is interested in investing and knows a thing or two that you generally don't bet against Elon Musk.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't necessarily need to invest in SpaceX at the IPO. You could invest a year later. The people who invested in Tesla when it IPO'd and the ones who invested 6 months later or 1 year later, there's not too much of a difference. There will
Yeah.
be, but it's not that big relative to the volume of risk you have to take, right? So personally, I'm certainly with you, Dr. Dimo. I don't plan to buy SpaceX at its IPO. I plan to give it at least 1 year to see exactly what it does, see exactly what's going, see whether the revenues can improve. Because SpaceX is not only the biggest IPO in the history of the stock market, but this is the only company in the history of the stock market that is IPOing with 37 billion of cumulative losses.
Can you
No
imagine?
other company has ever come close to that volume of cumulative losses before it IPOs. I was looking through their filing documents. Most companies, when they are filing for IPO, it's very dry because it's financial information, right?
Yeah.
No, not SpaceX. They start with 14 pages of space pictures. I mean, they build this story of changing the human race and making humanity. Oh man, look,
Yeah.
you have to give it to Elon Musk. That
Yeah.
guy, he understands human beings.
The thing is, he is selling the future to you.
That's what he's actually
Yeah, yeah.
doing.
The question here is, do you understand the future he's selling?
Yes.
Are you willing to risk to buy
And
into that future, or do you want to take do you want to do your due diligence and maybe, and if somebody is really eager to get into SpaceX, right?
Mhm,
I would say depending on the size of your portfolio,
mhm.
you can put in 1%.
And you know,
Because
Dr.
I'll
Edimo.
tell you,
Mhm.
I'm investing in quantum computing right now. Okay, that's something I just planned. If that 1% goes, that's not the end of life. But
Mhm.
that 1% can get to 100%,
Correct.
can get
Correct.
to 1,000%. So each and every investor has to understand their risk tolerance.
Mhm.
And when you come to Wall Smart, right? When we are coaching you, that is one thing that we have to make you understand.
Yes.
Some people just invest for the sake of investing. If you don't understand your risk tolerance, it's like that same application that I told you.
Mhm.
It comes back to your standard deviation and
Mhm.
your sharp ratio. What
Mhm.
is the sharp ratio? If something catastrophic happens, What are you? What is comfortable with respect to if you have $100,000 portfolio? Are you comfortable when it goes down 20%, or are you comfortable when it goes down 50%? And when it goes down 50%, it will take 100% to bring it back to where it was. That's one thing that a lot of people don't understand. So those are the things that each and everyone, and that is why you have coaches like us that you can come to us. We will be able to help you because some of us we paid a bitter price to where we are today. We're paying $10,000 to go to trainings. We have mentors that we pay every year. We have subscription that we pay. Just my subscriptions run into the tens of thousands.
Yeah.
That is why we are here. We're not here by the fact that we know it all. And we continuously align with those people that have made the right decision, that continuously to put out knowledge here to help us while we navigate this journey. Because this is a journey.
It truly is. Man, it's been a wonderful time, Dr. Jimo. But before I let you go, I want to share something here real quick, okay?
Okay.
Excuse me. Just give me a minute, guys. Just a minute. Let me see if I can get that thing. Just give me a minute, guys. I'm trying to share something really interesting here, and I think everyone will enjoy it. Okay. Let's see. Let me go back here. Let me see. Okay, no, I'm not able to get it going here, Dr. Edimo. Why don't we? Any closing words from you?
Yeah. Again, you all, I'm sure, to the new followers, my name is Dr. Heinrich Edimo. I am the founder of WorldSmart and co-founder of WorldSmart Next Gen. We currently have cohort 2 of WorldSmart Next Gen. This is us transforming your kids, ages from 9 to 17. Start teaching them how money works. The first dollar, what do they have to do with it? Because if these kids understand these basic principles that are not taught in school, they'll just make transformational difference as they grow up. Because it's not about how much you work, it's not about the career that you find yourself, it's about what you do with the money that you get. And that is why we created WorldSmart Next Gen. Also, with WorldSmart, we help average people. You don't need to be a doctor or a lawyer or a pilot in order for you to start getting coaching, financial help on how to build wealth and leave a legacy for your children's children. It's even written in Proverbs. A good man leaves a legacy for his children's children. So it's a 3 generation. So if you're leaving this world, you don't leave anything, you have to answer upstairs. What are you building right now? Come to WorldSmart. And just to let you know, building wealth is not about predicting every market move. It's about creating a vision, developing a plan, and staying disciplined, and allowing time and compound growth to work in your favor. You don't have to do that much of the work. The headlines will change, presidents will change, wars will come and go, but the principles of world building remains the same. Earn, save, invest, protect, and leave a legacy. Until next time, You're a great man.
I love that, Dr. Edimo. It's always a pleasure. But before we let everybody go, of course, I will always include Dr. Edimo's link down in the description of the video. But before I let everyone go, Dr. Edimo, I want you to look at this picture for me, okay, that we have on the screen. Because you talked a lot today about the necessity for people to do them, to focus on achieving their goals, working on their goals, and do what they have to do. And when they start investing, a lot will change. People will talk, people will look at you differently, right? And I was just thinking of a picture that really exemplifies this, because human beings are like that. Whatever you do, they will talk. So it's important to do what is going to help serve your purpose. Because look at this picture, right? This guy and his wife are riding the donkey, right? Which is their mode of transportation. And
Correct.
these two people here, two people on donkey's back, poor animal. Okay, the woman steps down so that they should not have two people on the donkey's back. Let it be one person so it's not too heavy. How cruel is he by letting his wife walk? All right. Now the guy says, no, that's true. I'm not a gentleman. Let me step down. Let me let the woman walk on the donkey, ride the donkey, so that at least it will not be bad. The people say again, stupid, what a stupid man letting his wife take the ride alone. You understand? And then they decided, you know what? Let's save the poor donkey. Let's all step down from the poor donkey and let the donkey walk without us on its back. So there is no weight. And the two guys still says, look at such fools. Don't even know how to ride the donkey.
They will always talk.
So whatever it is that you do, whatever it is that you aspire with your life, there will always be people who are criticizing.
Oh, yeah.
So guys, as you've listened to us over the last 1 hour, 16 minutes, Dr. Edimo has poured his heart, has poured a lot of wisdom, guiding you on the market, on investing, on your mindset, on your purpose, on the ability to just dig deep in you and find that ability to continue to work on your life. You must understand something. You are not the product of your goals. You are the product of your habits. You fix your habits, you achieve your goals.
Yep.
Guys, until the next time, if you haven't registered for my upcoming webinar on the 25th of June, the seats are filling up very fast. We usually only accept 30 people. So go ahead. The link is in the description of this video and also in the comment section. No matter the platform you're watching, whether on YouTube or on Facebook, click on that link, register for the webinar, and come on in and join us for that webinar on the 25th.
Yeah, folks, you don't want to miss this. I have paid to attend one of this. And I feature from time to time to give people to just support a friend. But I'll tell you, you don't want to miss this. This can easily run for $1,000. But this guy is giving it for $79. Do you think he pays his rent or his mortgage on $79 now?
And 97.
Or $97. So just go in there, pay that. The worst case scenario, you'll go out with something that will benefit you financially. I'm telling you, take a chance. If you don't take a chance, you won't have understood that there are opportunities that are out there. For $97, go and register and take some of this. We pay thousands of dollars to meet with people for an hour. So this is $97, guys.
Awesome, Dr. Edimo. Until the next time, guys, be well, be blessed, and by all means, never stop being a blessing to somebody. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye for now, everyone.
Bye for now.